Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Nurin and today I will present to you my research entitled The Effect of Covid-19 to the Stock Market in Malaysia. Covid-19, a very small virus but gave a massive impact to the world. Started on the 31st December 2019, it had resulted in the lockdown, induced fears to the investor and negatively affected the global supply and demand curve. Crises or major events can have a huge impact on the firm performance as well as the stock market return. As COVID-19 is a big event and was even announced as a pandemic, it does affect the whole stock market world. The first quarter of the economy in China showed a sharp decline and fears over the COVID-19 hit the Chinese stock the worst, according to the South 2020. The aim of this study is to analyze the effect of COVID-19 to the stock market returns in Malaysia and to determine the COVID-19 determinants that have the most influence to the stock market return in Malaysia. The data for this study is collected from various sources. The closing price of 30 listed stocks under the FPM KLCI were taken to calculate their return, while the cases of new cases and the cases from Malaysia and Singapore were utilized to proxy the COVID-19 effect. The observed period is from the 31st December 2019 until 9 June 2020, where the fifth phase of MCO ended. The data then was analyzed using panel data and regressed using Stata and eViews. The methodology for this study is divided into three categories, which are descriptive analysis, inferential analysis, and panel regression model. The results for the descriptive analysis are as follows. Return has an average value of 0.03% and with 0.02 for 8% deviation. Its minimum and maximum value are negative 0.2 and 0.76 respectively. The average value of new cases for Malaysia is lower than Singapore, which is 50.07, while the death cases has a bigger average value of 0.68 than Singapore. Meanwhile, the descriptive analysis for each stock's return shows Petronas Chemical has the highest standard deviation with 3.8, followed by Top Glove stock with 3.5. This means that Petronas Chemical and Top Glove stock are more volatile compared to the other stock. As for the mean, Top Glove stock is the highest with 1.249, followed by Hartalega with 0.807. For the multicollinearity testing using VIF, the mean VIF for the model when cumulative variables were excluded is lower than 10 with 4.7 value, and all the independent variables have VIF of less than 10 for this model. Thus, cumulative cases and cumulative death were removed from the model to tackle the multicollinearity problem. Three types of panel regression model were regressed, but only random effect with GLS regression were chosen to be analyzed after undergoing Bush-Pagan LM test, Houseman test, autocorrelation test, and heteroscedasticity test. Based on the result, we can see that none of the COVID-19 related variables can negatively impact the returns of the stock market, but their positive coefficients are very small. The new cases of COVID-19 for both countries show small but significant effect to the stock return, but only the death cases for Malaysia is significant. Comparing the variables, the local cases have a slightly significant and larger impact to the stock returns, and the death cases is the most influential effect to the returns. Meanwhile, the coefficient for the control variables are slightly larger compared to the COVID-19 variable, which is consistent with the past study. In conclusion, the two objectives for the study are fulfilled. From the panel regression for the period, which is from 31st December until 9 June, the number of daily COVID-19 cases for both countries have significant but positive effect to the stock market returns in Malaysia, which is not consistent with the finding by Lee et al. 2020. However, the coefficients of both variables are very small. The positivity of the COVID-19 daily cases is related to the characteristic of the FPM KLCI that consists of large market cap stock and are more stable and lower risk compared to the small or mid-cap stocks during a crisis. Meanwhile, the significant impact of the Malaysian death cases is consistent with the finding by Lee et al. 2020 and Chia et al. 2020. Comparing all the COVID-19 variables, the daily local death cases due to COVID-19 has the most influence to the stock market returns, and this satisfies the second objective for this study. Furthermore, the Malaysian stock market was also found to be significantly affected by the exchange rate of USD to MYR, the Brent crude oil price, and the CBOE volatility index. These are the external factors that investors should consider during the COVID-19 outbreak period, because Malaysia is an oil exporting country and have a close economic relationship with the United States. For further study, it is recommended to analyze the effect of COVID-19 by using longer sample period or comparing the sample period before and after the end of the fifth phase of MCO. That's all from me. Thank you.